You might not believe it, but these two tiny 5 pence coins people spend every day or leave forgotten in drawers are actually hiding secrets most collectors don't even know. One coin comes from the final years of the old British design, while the other is part of a hidden shield pattern almost no one notices. And here's the shocking part. Some rare versions of these coins have sold for unbelievable amounts. Today, we're uncovering the history, the symbolism, and the rare errors that can turn an ordinary 5p into something truly extraordinary. Welcome back to Numis Explorer. The 1988 5 pence coin from the United Kingdom is one of those fascinating pieces of currency that looks completely ordinary at first glance, yet carries a rich legacy, surprising details, and a hidden charm that collectors often overlook. This coin belongs to the era when the UK was gradually transitioning into a modern decimal system, and every coin minted during this period was designed with deep symbolism and political intention. What makes the 1988 5 pence coin especially remarkable is how it represents the closing years of the larger old-sized 5 pence series, which was eventually redesigned and shrunk in 1990. This makes coins like the 1988 edition historically important because they are among the final pieces struck in the original format. Many people do not realize that the very coin they once used for everyday purchases, buying snacks, newspapers, or catching the bus, has now become a small window into British history, carrying the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II during one of the most stable yet transformative periods of the nation. Even more interesting is that most people who owned or used this coin never realized the deeper meaning behind the crowned Scottish thistle on the reverse, a national emblem representing resilience, royalty, and pride. For collectors, such tiny design choices open the door to stories that blend tradition, politics, and craftsmanship, and this 1988 coin carries all of them quietly within its metal. The obverse of the coin features the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by the legendary sculptor Raphael Maklauf, whose initials RDM are subtly placed within the design. This portrait is famous because Maklauf intentionally carved it with a more graceful and regal appearance, emphasizing the Queen's maturity, strength, and leadership at that time. The image quickly became one of the most admired among collectors and still holds a special place in the world of numismatics. But what many people do not notice is that this portrait was introduced in 1985, which means the 1988 5 pence coin uses one of the most celebrated designs in the Queen's coinage history. The edges of the coin feature finely detailed beading, something the Royal Mint used to maintain precision and anti-counterfeiting reliability. When you really look closely, you start appreciating how much skill and attention went into crafting something that most people considered nothing more than loose pocket change. The inscriptions around the portrait, including Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD, represent the Queen's official titles in Latin, something that many people have seen thousands of times but never actually understood. Each element of the obverse was meant to honor the monarchy, while also giving the coin a modern yet timeless appearance. On the reverse side, the crowned Scottish thistle takes center stage, surrounded by the words 5 pence in bold lettering. The thistle is not a random flower. It is a national symbol of Scotland with centuries of myth attached to it, including legendary stories where the thistle saved Scottish warriors from invading enemies. Its placement on the coin symbolizes the unity of the UK's four nations and the strength of their monarchy. The crown above the thistle adds another layer of symbolism, reminding the user of the royal authority behind the currency they used daily. The design was created by the master engraver Mary Gillick, whose work combined elegance with national pride. Collectors often mention that the details on the thistle, its spikes, petals, and shape, are among the most finely etched patterns on small UK coins of that era. When viewed under magnification, you can see how carefully the texture was carved, making the 1988 5 pence a tiny piece of artistic craftsmanship. Despite its small value, it embodies centuries of culture, national unity, and symbolism that many people never pause to appreciate. The interesting twist in the story comes when you realize how few people ever saved this coin, simply because it was so common and seemed unimportant. It circulated widely throughout the UK for everyday purchases, and by the time the Royal Mint introduced the smaller 5 pence coin in 1990, older coins like the 1988 edition quietly disappeared from circulation. But that disappearance is exactly what gives the 1988 coin its appeal today, because collectors now see it as one of the final representatives of the large-sized 5 pence series. The surprising part is that while millions were minted, finding one today in clean, sharp condition is much more challenging than expected. Most were heavily used, scratched, dented, or worn out. The few surviving pieces in well-preserved condition have now become desirable collector items. And as more people around the world begin collecting British decimal coins, especially those featuring the earlier portraits of Queen Elizabeth II, the 1988 5-pence coin is becoming more interesting than ever. It represents a frozen moment in time, something modern coin designs no longer replicate. Suspense grows even more when you learn that some rare minting errors exist for 5-pence coins of the late 1980s. Although errors specifically documented for the 1988 year are limited, collectors have reported off-center strikes, weak strikes, and die cracks on various 5-pence coins from this era. If such an error appears on a 1988 coin, it could raise the value significantly, sometimes reaching unexpected prices among collectors who specialize in unique or flawed mint issues. The possibility of such rare errors adds an element of excitement and mystery, because you never know if the coin lying in someone's old drawer, jar, or forgotten box could secretly be worth far more than its face value. The fact that these coins were mass-produced actually increases the suspense. Millions were made, but only a tiny fraction may contain these valuable mistakes, turning an ordinary coin into a treasure for those lucky enough to discover one. As you hold or examine a 1988 5-pence coin today, it becomes clear that it's more than just a piece of metal. It's a small artifact that connects you to British history, to Queen Elizabeth II's long reign, to the design evolution of UK currency, and to the everyday life of people who once exchanged it without a second thought. The coin silently carries memories of bus fares, school lunches, newspaper purchases, and daily life in the late 1980s. And yet, in the world of collectors, this same coin now holds curiosity, nostalgia, and cultural significance. Whether someone keeps it for historical interest, artistic appreciation, or the thrill of discovering a rare minting error, the 1988 5-pence coin has become surprisingly meaningful. Its story reminds us that even the smallest and most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary stories. Stories of nations, traditions, people, and unexpected value waiting to be rediscovered. The next 2016 5-pence coin from the United Kingdom may look extremely small and ordinary, yet its history is far richer than most people imagine. This tiny silver-colored coin belongs to the modern era of British currency when the Royal Mint completely transformed the look of all circulating coins. Many viewers might not know this, but the 2016 5-pence coin is a piece of a much larger puzzle. A puzzle that spans centuries of British heraldry, monarchy, design evolution, and national symbolism. When someone holds this coin today, they usually focus only on its size. But beneath that small metal disc lies a story of innovation and tradition colliding. The coin is made of nickel-plated steel, reflecting the UK's move toward more cost-efficient metals in response to rising production costs. Yet despite its simple composition, this little coin carries the weight of an entire national identity. What makes the 2016 edition even more interesting is that it falls within the period when the Royal Mint introduced its new shield-based designs, turning everyday coins into interconnected pieces of art. But most people using it daily never realized they were holding a piece of a grand design, a coin that visually connects with all others to form one unified royal shield. This is what makes the 2016 5-pence coin fascinating. It's not just a monetary tool, but a piece of a hidden pattern waiting to be discovered. On the obverse side, the 2016 coin features the fifth definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, created by the talented engraver Jody Clark, whose initials JC appear subtly below the neckline. This portrait is iconic because it represents the Queen in her later years, yet with a powerful, dignified presence that symbolizes stability and continuity in the UK monarchy. Clark was only 33 when his design was selected, making him the youngest artist to ever create an official portrait for UK coinage, a fact that adds another layer of intrigue to the coin story. The portrait was sculpted using digital technology rather than traditional hand carving, marking a new technological chapter in Royal Mint history. Around the portrait, the Latin inscription reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, meaning by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith, a phrase deeply rooted in British monarchy. While millions saw this portrait daily, few understood the craftsmanship, symbolism, and historical continuity hidden in its details. Even the small beaded rim around the coin is not just decoration. It serves an anti-counterfeiting purpose and adds a sense of timelessness. Every feature on this side of the coin connects modern Britain with centuries of royal tradition. The reverse of the 2016 5 pence coin is where the real mystery begins. At first glance, it appears to be a random pattern of shapes, lines, and symbols. But in reality, it is one small segment of the complete royal shield. A bold and innovative design introduced in 2008 that revolutionized UK coinage. When all denominations from 1p to 50 pence are placed together, they form a complete coat of arms. The 5 pence coin contains the section featuring the bottom right portion of the shield, including details from the second quarter representing the 3 lions of England. The reverse design was created by Matthew Dent, an ordinary graphic designer who shocked the world by winning the Royal Mint's nationwide competition. His idea was simple yet brilliant. Make every coin individually unique, but collectively meaningful. The textured background, the shield lines, and the tiny engravings on the 5 pence coin all serve to maintain sharp detail, protecting the design from wear even after years of circulation. The placement of the word 5 pence across the shield lines looks deliberate yet subtle, adding harmony without overpowering the artwork. People who used this coin daily often never realized they were carrying a piece of a grand artistic mosaic. The suspense grows even deeper when we explore the circulation story of the 2016 5 pence coin. This year belongs to a period when the Royal Mint minted large quantities of 5p coins due to high public demand. Yet surprisingly, not all years saw similar volumes. Some years produced millions. Some produced very few. Although the 2016 issue was not the rarest, collectors now expose surprising patterns. Certain batches were struck for circulation, others exclusively for coin sets, and a few show signs of unusual die wear, weak strikes, and minor misalignments. These subtle minting differences create excitement among collectors who hunt for tiny variations most people never notice. And because these coins continue to circulate widely, the possibility of finding an error coin in everyday change keeps the suspense alive. In the coin community, stories frequently appear of ordinary people discovering coins with rotated dies, off-center strikes, or incomplete shield impressions. Small mistakes that can dramatically increase a coin's value. The 2016 5 pence coin belongs to this intriguing category where common coins hide uncommon surprises. Another aspect that elevates the 2016 5 pence coin is its place in the timeline of Queen Elizabeth II's long reign. This coin was minted only 6 years before her passing in 2022, which now turns it into a historical piece marking the final phase of the UK's pre-Charles III coinage. Coin collectors worldwide are increasingly focusing on coins featuring her last official portrait, recognizing their future importance. The 2016 edition therefore carries emotional value as well, representing stability, monarchy, and the final years of a queen who reigned for over 70 years. As modern UK coinage transitions into the era of King Charles III, older coins like the 2016 5p are becoming symbols of a chapter that has officially closed. This shift adds an unexpected depth to a coin that once seemed so ordinary. People now look at it not just as currency, but as a piece of history they may never see minted again. In the end, the 2016 5 pence coin is far more than its face value suggests. It is a blend of modern technology, artistic creativity, national identity, and the final years of an iconic reign. It tells a story of innovation, tradition, secrecy, symbolism, and the quiet beauty of everyday objects. Whether someone keeps it for its shield design, its portrait, its potential errors, or simply for historical memory, the coin has already claimed its special place in numismatic history. And perhaps the most thrilling part is that millions of people still have these coins sitting unnoticed in pockets, drawers, bags, or piggy banks, never realizing that this tiny, shining coin carries a grand story waiting to be told.